Welcome to Fangirling episode 4. We are joined by some very special guests today, including our youngest guest yet, Will. We also have Rich and return guest Allison. And I'll have you guys introduce yourselves, and we'll start with Will. Hi, Will.
Hello.
Hi. Can you tell everyone what your age is and what kind of projects you've worked on before in recording?
My age is 7, and I've worked on a bunch of different podcasts like Tavern Tales Jr. and What the Force.
Awesome. And what role do you play in this audio drama?
I play the role of Bobby.
Bobby, that's right. And you're the child of our other guests here. We'll start with you, Rich.
Hi, I'm Rich. I play Steve on Fangirls. And I've had experience with audio dramas for a short little bit. I got invited originally to work on an audio drama by Kyle, where I just took a chance on a role and I got it. And it was fun. And I've kind of been doing a lot of tiny roles within that particular community. And it's been nice to branch out and try some other different stuff. Like, this project is just really cool. The first one was the Ghostlight Theater, where I played the main character of Matthew. So that was like, I got dropped in the deep end and had like 20 pages, I think, of lines per episode. So it was a lot of recording. So it's been nice to kind of have smaller roles so I can do it almost in reverse order, where I get like my feet wet after I've already jumped in. So it's been nice.
Awesome. And of course, we've got Allison returning to the show.
Hello.
And we've talked about your projects before, but just for the new audience, can you let us know what you are working on currently?
Yes. So I'm one of the 6 ladies that created Calling Darkness, and our 9th episode just came out this past week, so we are ramping up for the finale in 2 weeks for the first season.
Oh, awesome.
And then I'm part of the Copperheart cast. I am Dani on Fangirls, of course. And then I'm also part of the Insomnia Project as Jessica. And there's audition things that are happening, so maybe more things later.
That's great. So lots of projects working on right now. All right, Will, I have some questions for you about your D&D podcast that you're on. Can you let me know what kind of character you play in that?
I play the character called Flash the Golden Dragon.
And what kind of class is that?
Eldridge Knight.
Ooh, cool. What's your favorite thing to do in game?
Use my shocking grasp sword.
That sounds like a really cool magical item. Did you have to fight hard to get that?
No, I got it at the very start of the whole game.
Oh, awesome. I wish I had such a generous DM. So Rich, you also play D&D, I hear.
Yeah, that's another fairly recent endeavor. I think it's been about 2 years since I've seriously been playing it. I got addicted, obviously, and after being told, oh, do you want to be in my campaign, I created a character, and then a day later I created another character, and I think I have around 20 now.
Oh, wow.
I haven't played many of them, more along the lines of 2 or 3, and some of them I'll pull in for a one-shot to just test them out, play around with different voices, see what I can get going.
It's really fun to workshop characters, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It's nice to play around with them and figure out who they are, even though sometimes you write 20 pages worth of backstory. When you actually sit down and play them, you kind of get more of an idea of who they are. Because one of my characters in a campaign a year ago, I was like, okay, he's not gonna speak with conjugations. He's gonna say do not don't. I never stuck with that. Never.
It's hard to commit to that kind of language change. It's hard enough to try and do an accent, but yeah, monitoring the way that you speak naturally has got to be difficult.
Maybe in the future I'll get to that.
Practice makes perfect.
Indeed.
Allison, do you play any role-playing games? I don't know if I've asked that from you before.
I haven't played D&D, but I play role-playing games as far as, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, that that type of RPG. But I haven't ever found a group for a D&D type situation.
So no foray into tabletop yet.
Not really. I mean, there have been like once in a while where I've found some people that do play tabletop, but then they just kind of evaporate into the mists. That never really goes anywhere.
It's really tough to get a group together. I think that is the major villain of all D&D playing, is group scheduling.
Sometimes it's tougher to keep the group together, too.
Yeah. It's hard to find a group of people that you mesh well with together and work well together with, but I'm sure you'd be interested in playing, right, Allison?
That would be in my wheelhouse for sure.
Mm-hmm. I can think that kind of goes hands in hand, that doing RPGs and also doing acting. It just seems like a natural progression or a natural continuation of that.
Mm-hmm. All of it's kind of related nicely.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about recording on this episode. So I brought you all together here today because we have the family. That was my logic in getting you guys all in the same interview, so thank you for coming on. I know you guys don't interact on the show except for recording your lines and having them stitched together, but I know that, Rich and Allison, have you talked at all about, what you were approaching the role with and how you wanted to, play off of each other?
I think we did a little bit during some of our table reads. For upcoming episodes, we had just the two of us kind of in a table read because of scheduling issues. So that was kind of nice to just play off of each other and talk to Marie Claire about like what she was seeing. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add, Allison.
No, that's pretty much what we've done, because, I mean, there's not a ton of scenes, but it was nice to be able to have that back and forth, just so that there was something prior to recording.
Getting a feel for the interactions in themselves, and getting the direction, of course. Is this your first time hanging out with Will, or have you guys spoken before outside of the table read?
I think just during the table reads.
Yeah, we, like in the initial, like, group chat, we hung out with him a little bit, and then I don't think much more than that.
Mm-hmm. So, Will, is it interesting having another set of parents that you meet that you're playing with?
Yeah.
And how did you record your lines?
Pretty well.
Of course you did. Did you have somebody read with you?
Yeah, my mom and dad.
Okay, so you got some, like, method going on here. Is it weird hearing yourself on a podcast?
Yeah.
But you like it?
Yes.
I like these succinct answers. What was your favorite line to read?
The crying line was my favorite and the hardest one that I could do.
Did you think about anything in particular while you were doing it?
Yeah, but I had to do some emotions for it.
That is acting, isn't it? Getting into the emotional feel of the character while you're saying the things, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you did an amazing job, and I really want to believe in the Thalasiren plushie figure. I wish I had one. So let's talk about how, Rich and Allison, how you approached your roles as well in regards to kind of playing off of each other as a family. Rich, did you have any experience that you drew from or anything that you brought to the table?
It was interesting because I'm a single fatherless person, so I didn't really have any of that to pull from. But I guess I'm like a pet uncle, and so I kind of, it's going to sound weird, but like anytime I needed to talk to Bobby, I just kind of pictured talking to the dog. Like, use that tone and that sincere emotion, that you have when you're talking to something that loves you unconditionally back. So that's kind of where I pull from.
I love that answer. That's great. We all have animal pets, or animal children, I should say. That emotion is the same. How about you, Allison?
Kind of similar. I'm a cat mom, so some of that was happening, and I personally enjoy that we pretended we were speaking to our audio drama child like a dog or a cat. But I have to keep the cats out of my recording closet, and their sorrowful meows just put me right in the sad mood just to do the parts I needed.
They're begging you to come out.
Or for them to come in, but their purrs get picked up on audio, so.
Oh, yeah. I have had that experience myself with my cat, so I can relate. Will, would you say that you're a cat or a dog?
Bunny.
Okay, that's a better answer. Any particular reason you're a bunny?
I am very energetic, and I was born in the year of the bunny.
Oh, nice.
Me too.
I don't know what animal I am.
Look it up right now. We all should be bunnies.
That would be, wouldn't that be weird?
That would be pretty awesome, actually. Googling intensifies.
I'm a rat, so which is pretty appropriate.
Oh, I fall into the category of pig.
Nice.
My sister's a golden pig.
Ooh.
What makes it gold?
Because she really likes money.
Oh. Okay. I like that. Golden piggy bank.
That's amazing.
So now that we've determined which animals we are, especially in the Chinese zodiac, is there any particular line readings that you guys enjoyed, Rich and Allison?
I particularly enjoyed the line that Steve had to say in the middle of like the group hug, because when we were doing the table read, Marie Claire was like, I suggest you hug yourself while you're reading it because it affects how your voice comes out. And so I'm sitting there in my room recording, hugging myself and trying to get the lines out. So it's always interesting to try to do something physical that no one's going to see to affect your voice. Like I had a voice line I was doing for something else where the character was being pulled out of a house by his like hair. And so while I was in the booth recording it, I was actually grabbing my hair and yanking on it just so that I could get in that mindset.
Nice. I guess, it's people don't always appreciate how much work goes into trying to sounding like you're just sitting in front of a computer recording into a microphone. So
Right.
That's amazing. You've got a lot of experience with that yourself, right, Allison?
With some things, like with Calling Darkness, there are a few scenes that are more physical, and I'm glad that no one can see me. I'm really happy about that. Because I look like an insane person. But, like, for Fangirls, with one part in particular where Dani is dragging her suitcases and trying to pack them, I have a weighted blanket in my closet, and so I was moving that around. And it worked pretty well for what I wanted.
It seems to have produced the desired effects, so yes, that's awesome. So in these scenes, you don't have a lot of, maybe not any emotional conflict as much. Are you prepared for what comes in the future? And I won't give away any spoilers, of course, but are you excited for how you'll be portrayed later?
Always.
Yeah, I was definitely channeling some vibes from work atmospheres to get some of the later recordings done.
Nice. Frustration?
Just a bit.
So, Will, answer me this. Are you going to do more recording in the future? Do you like voice acting?
Maybe.
What would be your dream project to work on?
A D&D thing.
More D&D?
Yeah, like I want to run a D&D thing.
Oh, would you GM or DM?
DM.
Nice. What kind of campaign would you run? Would you do something like a dungeon crawl, or would you do like fighting dragons?
I would actually do like a book called The Ghosts of the Salt Marsh.
Oh, nice. So that's an existing book that you want to run the campaign for.
Yeah.
And do you want to do it for other kids or for adults?
Adults and kids.
I like that. A good mix. Awesome. I think you'd be a great GM, and I would definitely listen to your podcast. In addition to D&D, we all have other loves that we are big fans of. Will, are you a big fan of something besides Star Wars or D&D?
My iPad.
What do you do with your iPad?
Watch YouTube videos, play Roblox and Minecraft, and that's about it.
That's pretty cool, though. That's awesome.
And I also do have a YouTube channel.
You have a YouTube channel. That's amazing. I don't even have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What do you post on?
I post on gotcha things, but I don't have that many, I only have 2 subscribers, but I only have 2 videos.
You'll get there. I think so. You just got to produce more content, right?
Yeah.
Trying hard not to laugh too hard right now. This is amazing. But you've got more videos than most of us do, so I'm very proud of you. So on that vein, Rich, do you produce anything on your own that you call your special project?
I have some things in the work. I've been trying to learn how to DM better. That was another thing as soon as I got into D&D and other systems like Monty Cook Games has something called the Cypher system, which is a very pared down version, I guess. That's not really a good description, but it's very straightforward, so it's easier to digest and get into. And so I love telling stories, and I want to tell as many as I can, and having an interactive audience that helps you tell the story is like a dream come true, because you get feedback while you're doing it, and they can come up with ideas that you'd never think of, so it gives you all these different things that you can bounce off of each other and make a story better than it could ever have been told by just one person.
Absolutely. I myself have run a Numenera campaign and a podcast on the system before. So, and I can tell you, I can agree with you completely that it is a much easier storytelling mechanic for new players, because it is kind of a very simple system to grasp onto. Right.
Yeah. There's less of, okay, here's a huge list of skills and information you have to learn, and more, let's tell a story and we'll worry about that skill stuff as we do it.
Yeah. It's easy for people to break into. So, right. Allison, if you want to play a game, Numenera or The Strange or one of the Cypher System games is actually pretty simple.
Those sound less daunting.
Yeah, I would definitely run a game for anybody who wants to play. I do a Fangirls one shot.
That'd be awesome. We could get Will on too. He knows
sure.
How to play.
Get everyone.
A 40-person one shot.
Hey, we can do it. I mean, I'll be happy to help co-GM on that.
Oh, I've never had a chance to co-GM, but I feel like that would be another really fun thing, just to see how people run games differently.
Yeah.
But try to fit it together.
Everybody has a different approach to how they either run or write.
Right.
On the fly. So it's pretty fun when you get collaboration involved.
Definitely.
Allison, how are you feeling about, wrapping up your project currently, and what are you looking forward to the most with it?
I'm so sad. I've recorded my last lines as Cassie, and I'm editing those this weekend. We are planning on doing a second season, but we're going to take a substantial hiatus so that there's time to write everything, and I think the idea more is to record everything before releasing, so that we run into less issues with, delays and whatnot. But I'm super excited for the finale and how people are going to take it, because it's pretty emotional, y'all.
Yeah. Especially when it's that closure on the entire story arc. I'm assuming it must be a lot to both process and to produce.
Yes. I'm glad that we have Christina, who does our audio wizardry for Fangirls as well. I'm very glad that we have her for Calling Darkness, because she's real good, and I don't understand how that works.
It is a lot of work, and it's amazing to see the difference between a raw recording and then having the final episode. Just feels so much different. You guys, I'm sure, are enjoying the audio drama along with me. So, is there a favorite part that you like about the actual drama itself? And Will, have you been listening to yourself, and do you like it?
I have just been listening to Tavern Tales Jr. when I put my clothes away.
So you haven't been listening to the audio drama?
Yeah.
Anything you would do differently if you were able to record again?
Nothing really differently.
You like what you got so far?
Yeah.
Did you have any scary moments on your recording for Tavern Tales?
No.
No almost deaths or near misses? Critical fails?
Well, one person has died 2 times, and then 2 other people has died 1 time, but they've all been revived by Georgington.
And who's that?
Georgington is a side character that my dad runs, and he is the healer and the only med person in the team.
You better not upset him then, right? He's keeping you alive.
What do you mean? I'm keeping my character alive.
This is true. Yeah, I won't downplay it. I'm sorry. What's the scariest thing that you fought yet?
Probably the thing that we did from the last game, but I forget what it's called. It was like this giant slime bug. But they're actually supposed to be fire bugs.
Oh, that sounds terrifying. I don't like that.
It was actually like an adult one, and it run to these little mini ones that were slimer bugs.
Very scary, but cool. I'm excited to listen to that. I'm interested now.
But my dad's still very far on editing all the episodes far away from doing all the episodes, but he's on my dungeon right now.
Uh-oh, Kyle just got called out for his editing.
It's a lot of work. Those D&D sessions are no joke.
That is one of the main reasons why I haven't tried to start my own podcast, because editing is a lot of work. Speaking
from experience, yes, it is. And Allison, you haven't done any editing yourself, have you? Or you're the smart one.
I am not equipped well for that level of multitasking. It would not only take me a ridiculous amount of time, but I would get so angry so quickly.
Natural part of the process. Getting angry, rage quitting on your editing program. Been there, done that.
I've heard too many horror stories of people about to be done editing something and the program crashed and it saved none of their work.
Yeah.
And been there, done that.
Yeah, those nightmares scare me.
I think there is a general estimate that with podcast editing, it takes about an hour for every 15 minutes. Is that what it is? Ooh. That might be a very generous estimate, actually, from my experience. A 1 hour to 2 hour podcast recording will take about 12 to 15 hours to do. So welcome to my nightmare. Sorry. A little bit of too much information for you guys.
I thought that with our last episode of Calling Darkness that Christina said it took, did she say like 35 to 38 hours, something in that ballpark?
Oof.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Especially with a lot of people interacting and having that audio drama added, Foley sounds and stuff like that to go in there.
And that's a person who actually knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. She knows what she's doing.
A novice, probably double or triple that.
Exactly. It's not a hobby that's easily broken into. So we have mad respect for Christina and for everybody involved with those projects. So, I don't think we've gotten everybody's, true feelings about Star Wars here, with the exception of Allison. I think we did talk about it on your recording, but we can, touch on that now that, its time has passed. Will, how do you feel about Star Wars?
I kind of effort doing Star Wars stuff, but my mom wanted to go to Star Wars Technical Con, and she couldn't find any porgs, but I found porgs today.
You found a porg today? Where at?
Disney store.
Oh, nice. Did you get one?
No, I just saw one, a bunch, 4 of them.
Still, you got to see them and pet them, right?
I got see them, and they felt really soft.
Nice. Would you get a porg plushie?
Yeah, but I also have a Gorg plushie.
Oh, no, that's cooler. The Gorgs are awesome.
It's not a Gorg plushie, but it's a Gorg puppet.
A puppet. That's awesome. Are you watching Star Wars Resistance?
I've already finished, every episode.
And do you like it? Do you have a favorite character?
My favorite character is Gorg.
Nice. There's multiple Gorgs on the show, too, right? They're little fish lizard creatures.
Yeah, but I just said Gorg because I like different character Gorgs.
Mm-hmm.
And also there is a part that's really funny because the main character of the show tries to get a person who's really upset about losing his pet. He literally got a Gorg and gave it to him, and then he was like, hey, thank you for giving me lunch.
You're talking about when Niku ate the Gorg instead of taking it as a pet, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good moment. Rich, do you like Star Wars?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't like Star Wars. I think my first real introduction to Star Wars was actually the, I don't know if anybody else remembers it, but it was called the Ewok Adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was with the little girl when their whole family was stranded on Endor.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember seeing that and going, what is this? And then later on, my family was in a Blockbuster. Yes, I'm dating myself right now. And we were just going through the sci-fi section, and we didn't even connect Star Wars with that because it never had the little Star Wars header, because franchising kind of wasn't as big back in the 80s. But we're just looking through, and I was like, this looks kind of cool. And we had to ask someone what order you were supposed to watch them in, because they didn't have episode numbers on them either. It was just A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So It was just like, there's no numbers. How do we watch this? And luckily somebody was walking by and they showed us the right order. And I think I watched all 3 movies in a weekend.
That's awesome. Your first introduction.
I ended up at the end of Return of the Jedi. I don't know how old I was, probably like 5 or 6 or something. And I was crying because Darth Vader died. I was so distraught because I was like, he was becoming a good guy. I just wanted him to spend time with Luke.
Yeah, I didn't get time to spend with his son after becoming redeemed. It's a very heartbreaking moment, and I think it goes to show how touching Star Wars is. It just the original trilogy and the arc that exists. Are you looking forward to the conclusion of this new trilogy?
I have mixed feelings about the newer trilogy. I won't begrudge anybody else their enjoyment of it. I enjoy pieces of it. I'll say that.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. We all have different Star Wars we attach to.
Right.
What is your favorite part of it, if you have one?
The most visually stunning scene in a Star Wars movie was the light speed crash right through the ship. Like, you can't get a visual spectacle like that anywhere else, I think. It's just beautiful. I thought that was just... My mouth was agape when I saw that scene. I was just... Whoa.
Yeah, the Holdo maneuver is absolutely gorgeous. It's a good scene, too, just the way it's set up and that conclusion that occurs there. Allison, I know that you're getting more and more into Star Wars as you're exposed to it constantly by your new mutuals.
Correct.
How are you feeling about the upcoming film and, your own engagement, enjoyment of Star Wars fandom?
I'm excited to see how everything's going to end up, and I have things that I want to have happen, but I don't know if they're gonna happen because...
Anything that in particular?
I just want the Raylo to happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
Yay,
I really want it to happen.
Are you not confident that it will happen?
A lot of the things that I want to have happen don't, so I'm pretty confident it's not gonna happen. And that I'm just going to be very sad. If I go into it with that mentality and it happens, I'll be even happier, so...
Never have any expectations, you'll never be disappointed, right?
Or if you're just used to your ships failing,
Oh no! What ships have failed for you?
There's been some Game of Thrones ships and Game of Thrones in general that I just feel very sad inside if I think about it too long.
Yeah, I think we're all at that point now, The stages of grief have definitely come into just past shock and anger into sort of quiet, sad acceptance for most of us with Game of Thrones. The numbness, yeah.
Many of those ships were sunk.
Yeah. We're all mourning the loss that could have been.
But I've been rewatching that just so I can relive some of the happier moments, which is an odd concept with that show, but...
I was gonna say, are there happy moments in Game of Thrones?
I mean, before the ending.
Maybe like some in the first season?
Well, and now watching the first season, it's kind of, when you're watching all of the Starks go their separate ways in the first and second episode, I'm like, oh no, that's the last time they're ever going to see one another. No.
I read the first book after watching the first season, and the entire book, I'm like, come on, Ned, you can do it. I believe in you. You can escape.
No.
Nope, it's just the slow push towards the tragedy that is going to happen every time, but I feel you on that. Pour one out for Ned Stark. He probably made it out better than most, considering.
He tried so hard.
Poor Sean Bean.
Yes.
Give that man a job where he doesn't die.
I think if you look at the statistics, it's around like 50-50 whether he lives or dies in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've only seen a few, but... So, Allison, can you indulge me on what your ships on Game of Thrones were?
I had a lot of weird ships with Game of Thrones that I could see working. Sansa got shipped with Theon. She got shipped with Littlefinger, because I'm weird. Yeah.
Very normal.
Very normal. Arya and Gendry was the one that really crushed me, because that one had some potential, and then it was, I'm gonna go to Easteros or whatever she's gonna find.
Yeah, Arya decided to become, Columbus? Going across the sea.
I hope not actual Columbus.
No, hopefully not spreading any kind of colonialization there, right?
See her wanting to explore, that seemed in character, but then just all that she did to get back to her family and okay, bye, just didn't quite mesh for me too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Gendry stowed away on her ship. You don't know.
He's in a barrel.
That's the Fix-It fanfic we're writing now.
There you go.
And then, of course, Dani with John and just...
Same. It hurts. It's too soon.
You guys can just roll together. Just do it together and you'll be fine. No? Okay.
I feel you on that. And that's sort of why I have a lot of hope for Star Wars to end with a happy and fulfilling or satisfying ending. Now, whether or not we get that is up to the gods, but... or the Force, I should say.
Yes, the Force and the writers.
Mm-hmm. But hopefully we get a very good ending to that. And hopefully our love of Star Wars continues on afterwards, unlike some people's love of Game of Thrones.
Well, we're going to get that prequel series thing, whatever that's going to be, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'll love Star Wars no matter what they do, just because the universe in general it just captivates your imagination so much that even if there's a story that doesn't click with you, there's other stuff out there that will grab you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Old Republic MMO, I played a ton of that, and
Nice.
I just loved seeing the giant armies of Sith versus the giant armies of the Jedi, just to see like both units kind of in their power, get into the lore, get really deep into the backgrounds of where the current series of characters from Luke all the way to Rey, to see where they came from,
Yeah, I love the Old Republic lore. It is so amazing, not only just from the MMO, but all in the RPGs and the books, and also, of course, Knights of the Old Republic. Good stuff right there. I'd be happy to see us go back to that time in history and then films. And it sounds like they're going that direction with at least one of the trilogies that they're planning, so might get what we want. Will, what is your favorite part of Star Wars?
Weird stuff at the trailer of episode 9.
What's the weird stuff?
Well, the thing is, the two weird stuff are that someone random's riding and is driving the Millennium Falcon, and that weird, creepy laugh at the end of the trailer.
The Palpatine laugh?
Yeah.
Do you think the Emperor is coming back and is going to be in episode 9?
Maybe. I don't know. But also, it has that, like, Luke is coming back. How is Luke coming back?
I think he might come back as a Force ghost, right?
Maybe or maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a flashback. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is BB-8.
That's a good favorite character. How about you guys?
When I was a kid, I was very particular to Salacious Crumb, just because he is this goofy little rat creature that just sat there and giggled. And then
You like the monkey lizards, huh? That's awesome.
Why not? And when I found out that was his name, I was like, oh, okay, that's even cooler. And then I had a brief smitten with Boba Fett, but it's more the Mandalorians was what I liked. I'm curious to see what they're doing with the new show.
Yeah, the new show looks amazing, especially Pedro Pascal is like awesome. Game of Thrones, of course, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that show as well. And you, Allison?
As a child, I was a big Darth Vader fan, because that's how I roll. And
Nice.
yes, and so, like, for me, the ending of that whole trilogy was just, well, that sucks. He was my favorite. And now I'm also a big fan of BB-8 because that is the cutest droid. And then I enjoy Kylo because I like seeing where his character is going, and I like the dark side characters the most. I think that I find them to be the most interesting in most of the stories.
Absolutely the same over here as well. And I guess you could say, like, Kylo is kind of an extension of that love of Darth Vader, probably, right?
Yes, he's the younger, prettier version.
Yes.
Well, the dark side characters get more of a chance to explore their emotions. They're not repeatedly told to tamp them down, so you get to see more depth of character, I feel, from them.
Agreed.
With Darth Vader, like in Rogue One, that was like the best Darth Vader scene ever.
That was really good.
I think I was bouncing in my seat when that scene came on.
Yes, I kind of freaked out, and I had gone to see that with my dad, and I was like punching him excessively, like, look at what it is!
That's the appropriate response. I know people that went and saw the movie just for that scene. Again, you know?
I could definitely see that. I also saw a fan film where someone reshot the Obi-Wan and Vader fight from A New Hope with, like, current technology so they could actually do more moves than just two old men swinging a sword. It was like, oh, I wish they had the technology to do this, because it was amazing.
Yeah, I would really like to see a redux of that fight as well without having them trying gingerly tap the lightsabers together because they would have broken.
And it's amazing what fan love of this series can do, because there was another amazing fan film for Darth Maul where he was meditating on a planet and like 5 Jedis came to take him out, and you got to see him like really get into it. And it's amazing that people love stuff this much to invest all that time and energy into creating, I think it was like 10 minutes of footage.
That's awesome. Darth Maul is definitely a favorite in this house and amongst my friends. So I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen that yet.
I think when they showed the first preview with him and they showed the double-sided lightsaber, I looked to my mom and I was like, they stole that idea from me. I've been talking about that for the last 5 years.
That's awesome.
They heard you.
And of course he's back in Solo, so, you know, we might still see more of him.
They've been looking in your dreams.
Yep, they have. For another area of conversation, has anyone actually done any cosplay or costuming? I know I have, but I'm not talking today. So, Will, have you done any costume wearing? And what is your favorite costume?
Only Halloween related.
Mm-hmm.
And play related.
But you've done plays, huh?
Yeah, like, just plays from, like, Midsummer, that is a summer camp. And I was a dragon for that.
You were a dragon? That is so cool.
And also I was Axel from Nexo Nights for Halloween once. And I was sweating like crazy.
Did you have a lot of armor on?
I also had this like Lego helmet on. And it was orange. My mom also did like a costume for my sister. It was a costume that she liked and loved. She had like a different hairstyle, and she had this like rock texture, and the rock texture was really cool because it looked like she was on the evil side, that is Jestro's side. And on Jestro's side, basically you turn to stone. Once when this cloud like hits you with some stuff, you turn on his side. If you're stone, then you'll turn into like a monster, and it's a Lego thing.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool, though. So Lego themed. I didn't know Lego lore was so cool. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That is an awesome helmet.
Yeah, we're all looking at the beautiful helmet here.
That's so cool.
That's a pretty intense costume. I think that's better and more well done than any of my cosplays, so congratulations. You should wear that to a con sometime. How about you, Rich? Have you done any kind of dressing up, or?
Most of my experience has been just costumes for Halloween. I have that like all or nothing mentality, so I always like I want my costumes to be perfect, and then I just give up because I know they're not going to be. And I've gotten better with that recently. So like my first real like foray into cosplay was a group of friends and I who are fans of the show Critical Role. We were doing a charity run, and so I shaved my head, and I've been growing my beard for like, I think this is over a year now. This has been growing. And I took some hair dye and dyed the beard black and got a friend to paint the tattoos for the Grog character. And
Yay, that's Grog, my favorite.
I did a casual cosplay. So like I had the Jox Machina t-shirt, and I made a belt of dwarven kind belt buckle out of like cardboard and printed out paper. And I had that paper clipped to my belt.
Nice.
And then we did like a little charity run. So that was fun.
I hope you had a beer afterwards for Grog's sake.
I don't drink, but
Oh.
in spirit, I guess you could say I had a beer.
Totally. Awesome. And you, Allison?
Not a whole lot. The most in-depth cosplay I did, I was Lena Inverse from Slayers. And that's probably, that's the only one I've really done. And I think part of my thing is I really like to be comfortable. And cosplay is inherently not very comfortable. So what I really need to do, because I like doing it, I just need to find characters that I can comfortably cosplay, like, you know, the casual Disney princess look. That I could probably rock.
Yeah, a lot of cosplay is either you have layers and layers and layers on and you're sweating your butt off, or you have very little on and you're self-conscious. Like, that's why I haven't done a full Grog cosplay, because he wears next to nothing.
Can confirm this.
And you also can't control the weather. So, like, the main con that I go to is in May in Chicago. And May in the Midwest, you either get, it's cold, it could be very cold and rainy and gross, or it could be 90 degrees. So I've met a lot of people at that convention that they used to try and kind of plan their cosplays seasonally for where they would be going, and ASIN would just screw them up because they just couldn't.
You almost have to have, like, 2 costumes so you can switch between them depending on the weather.
And if you know talented cosplayers, no one got time for that.
Right. You see some of them, they drop, like, 40 hours into a costume.
Finishing up on their way to the con.
Yeah, I've got friends to do it pretty professionally, and their strategy is, of course, to have the one big one for, you know, the main day, and then to have some more casual cosplays for the rest of the trip so they don't burn themselves out trying to get ready. I completely empathize with that, although I don't have the ability to create good cosplays.
Or so that the group that you're with does not have to wait 20 hours while you get ready.
Yes. Yeah, I think a good portion of my time at Celebration was spent getting ready in the hotel room, and mistakes were made.
Choices were made and they were wrong.
Yeah, you gotta learn somehow, right? But
The biggest
Awesome.
things you have to worry about with cosplay is how do you eat, how do you use your phone, and how do you go to the bathroom?
mm-hmm.
Because I've seen some where I'm like, I don't know, like, they better not have an emergency because they're not getting out of that quick.
They don't know either.
Yeah, you don't always have pockets to store things, like your lash glue, when your eyelashes are coming off midday.
Well, luckily a lot of cons are starting to have the, like, cosplay emergency boots where they have those little small things for you to help you out so that you don't have to lug around an entire makeup kit or something just because you drank something that washed away some of the makeup on your face.
Yeah, exactly. And then, or you can bring a handler with you. Somebody's nice enough to take care of you during the con, which is actually in the drama, so.
Not a very good handler, though.
Not a very good one, no.
Really should be paying better close attention to his very distraught person, but, you know.
Yeah, priorities, right? You gotta bring somebody that you can trust not to go chasing after some other person. So, what con do you go to, Allison, that is in the Midwest?
It's Anime Central. So that's the one, it's at the Rosemont Hyatt in Chicago.
Oh, nice. And you've been going there for quite some time, right?
Yep. I think this was my 6th or 7th year going there. So there's one friend that always comes with me. And then this past year, one of my other friends that lives in Nebraska was able to come. So she actually had a very in-depth Sheik cosplay from Legend of Zelda that she did on the big day.
Ooh, cool.
And
Very
then,
cool.
yes, and it was real good. Her other ones were the more casual ones, like we were discussing. She was like casual Scarlet Witch, and then she also has one that I want her to do it again. So Draco from the Harry Potter musical that just rolls around on the floor. She's done that one, and that one's one of my favorites.
That's amazing. And you've been to Gen Con, right, Rich? Or are you going?
Yeah, last year was my first year at Gen Con, and I'm going back this year. I've been to PAX East for the last, like, 5 or 6 years, maybe longer. You lose track after a while. And I've been to a Catacon in Dayton. That was last year was my first year for that. that's a really nice, like, smaller con. So you get to spend more time just chatting with people and playing games as opposed to weeding through thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Smaller cons can be a lot more fun and enjoyable just based on crowd sizes alone. I know that from personal experiences.
It was interesting too, because I was at I had a lot of firsts last year. I also went to PAX Unplugged for the first time last year, and while I was wandering around, I ended up being shown to a quiet room where I didn't realize it existed. And I walked in and I was like, oh, you just had like this blanket of silence fall over you. Because earlier that day, I had needed a place to find quiet, and I didn't have it. And I was just sitting in a corner, and there was screaming and yelling all around. And when I found that, I was like, I wish I had known about it earlier, because it's sometimes you just have too much sensory overload, and you need that quiet space to unwind and get yourself back to like a balance.
I can empathize with that completely. I definitely always need to take breaks and get away from people when I'm at cons because of that overload factor. So, yeah, it's good to know that they're accommodating those needs in cons.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it at other places. I would assume if it was at PAX Unplugged, they probably have them at the other PAXs. And I'd like to believe that if they don't have them at other ones, that they would start having them.
Yeah, they could be used. They're very necessary, I think. I don't think Will's ever been to a con, but there's a possibility in the future. Are you going to go to Celebration, or?
I am going to Gen Con this year.
Nice. Are you going to play some games there?
I am going to do Werewolf and a couple of other things.
Wow, that's so cool.
But Werewolf is still working on. My dad is still working on doing Werewolf. He hasn't figured out how to do it yet.
It takes a while to learn new systems or other systems, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going to be playing with other kids or with your dad?
With my dad and my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go to Gen Con and look at a few board games. And that's about it. But Werewolf is probably going to be my pride entertainment.
That's really cool. Are you working on a character for that, or?
Well, I already have my own character called Mr. Cakey.
What kind of werewolf is he?
Well, he's not a werewolf. He's like a werewolf or a villager or a different special character, but he is very special and fun that I like him, and I've always used him since the very beginning of Werewolf.
Nice. That's awesome. Does he have any special powers that you really like?
Like, not, but I also have, like, a sense of being, like, narrator most of the time, but most of the time still I get to be, like, a different character, like. But also we do this thing when we have Werewolf playing at our house. We do that. We have the person beside us has to, you have to describe that person's character.
Oh, so you describe the character for the person sitting next to you. Okay. I see how that works. That's kind of fun. It, like, introduces a new element to play.
Yeah, but also there's, like, so many different characters. There's, like, vampires. So many different, like, characters that can destroy the werewolf, like the hunter. He can literally kill the werewolf.
Oh, that's not good.
He literally points at someone, and then that person will not be in the game anymore, but also he will not be in the game anymore. He or she will not be in the game anymore. But also, there's an element called the seer. The seer will point at someone, and if they go with a V, that means they're a villager. But if it's a W, that means they're the werewolf.
Okay, so I see how this game is played a little bit now. That's awesome. And you would recommend playing it with friends?
But also at the very beginning of the game, you have to start with saying the character is waking up, saying like, werewolf wake up, seer wake up, that sort of thing, so you know who everybody is.
Okay. That sounds like a really fun game.
And you say, werewolf, wake up. Who do you want to kill? And then the werewolf points at someone, and then the next morning, that person's ends up out of the game.
This is a crash course in how to play werewolf. I'm really enjoying this. It sounds like a fun game. Is there other stuff that you're looking forward to at Gen Con?
Basically, probably nothing except iPad.
iPad is friend.
I'm actually hoping to find some room in their schedule to run a game for the whole Gould family.
Oh, nice. What are you planning on doing?
Probably something in the Cypher system. I think that would be a nice, easy jump in and jump out, but I can do D&D as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you gotta let me know what you end up doing with the Cypher system, because that sounds fun.
Oh yeah, I love hacking the Cypher system to make a story that I want to tell, because it adapts so easily to everything, so you can tell any stories you want.
Yeah, that you can. And rolling the dice is super, super straightforward and simple, and making checks as well. So
right.
All right. So anything that we're looking forward to with the rest of the show to close up our interview today? Allison, what are you most excited about in the future?
I'm excited to see what other people think of the upcoming episodes, and my favorite thing is seeing the reactions from people that are listening that get invested. So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye out for.
Awesome. Yeah, you got a lot coming up in your future in terms of acting on the show, so good luck and thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Rich, you'll be back, I'm assuming, as well, of course. I mean, I've read the script. Why should I ask?
I've actually tried only to read like just my lines. And when we do the table reads, like, I will listen, I will enjoy it, but I try not to let too much of it sink in, because I like the experience of listening to the episode along with everyone and just experiencing it fresh. So I have an idea of pieces, but I purposely let my memory like wipe so that I wait with anticipation along with everybody else when a new episode comes out.
Honestly, same.
I think that's a great strategy. You can actually enjoy it as an audience member, not just as somebody participating in it. So that's great.
And my memory can be terrible, so it kind of works out.
Will, are you going to listen to the show when it's all done and recording?
Yeah, I'll probably finish every episode, and I'll probably watch the one I'm in first.
That's a good idea. I think that's awesome. Gotta hear yourself, you know? Sometimes that can be hard for some people. I don't listen to a lot of what I do.
I can hear myself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. I'll let you go now, but it was really wonderful to have you on the show. And we'll wrap up if you want to share where people can find you online, your projects that you're working on. Will, do you have any way to people reach you online, or are you just on your iPad? Maybe just Tavern Tales?
Tavern Tales and my YouTube channel, Spiker Does Games 100.
All right, Spiker Does Games 100. I'm subscribing. You can have 3 subscribers.
I have 2 subscribers. Now I'm going to have 5 subscribers.
Yes, you will.
Or maybe even more than 2. I just have not checked yet. But the 2 things I have in are my intro and outro and their gotcha videos.
Nice.
Probably no one here knows what gotcha is.
I do not, but I will be looking that up later.
Gacha is a thing that has very kawaii characters that you can use. My sister has a gacha channel, and I have a gacha channel, and my sister's friend has a gacha channel. So many people I know have a gacha channel. I use my videos with KinMaster. It's a good editing thing. And most YouTubers can use memes. And memes are like these things that have every episode in like Gacha has music. But they have like these music episodes that they actually dance to the music. And my sister just finished her Cut My Hair meme, but she has to release it on Wednesday.
That sounds super awesome. And how about you, Rich?
I don't have any streams currently going for extended stuff, but I have been in some episodes of Kyle's Morty's Devils. I just finished my 2nd episode last night, and I've got some episodes I wrote coming up, so that'll be cool it's always interesting to watch other people run something you wrote, just to to see how they interpret the things that you came up with. Because again, the collaborative thing is really fun. But I should be also in a D&D actual play, like 2 or 3 session podcast coming out in the Dark Sun world.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm curious. We're still building characters for that, but I'm excited to play it just because D&D and acting and all that jazz.
That's great. So where can we find you online?
I am usually under the name Quixotic. That's Kwiksotic on most social media.
Okay. Thank you. And how about you, Allison?
So I'm on the Twitters. So there's underscores, worst underscore hero underscore ever. And that's from role-playing games, because I'm not good at them. And then of course there'll be the finale for Calling Darkness in 2 weeks. And then there's also going to be the upcoming episodes for Fangirls and Copperheart, which I'm super excited about. Copperheart has been, if anyone hasn't been listening to it, they should, because it's really good.
And can you describe a little bit about it?
It is a dystopian sci-fi story. So Mike, who's the creator of that, he also runs the Steam Rollers Adventure podcast, which is a steampunk D&D actual play. And
nice.
That has a ton of episodes out. They're in their 3rd season right now. You can listen to that, and they actually take place within the same universe. So you will find Easter eggs, but you don't have to listen to all of it to enjoy all of it, which is good. So he's got 2 books out that take place in the same universe, so you can consume as much of the media as you want. But if you're like me, you can just go all in and read the books and listen to all of the things.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, listen in to everyone's projects if we can, right? And thank you so much for coming on today. Also, your participation in Fangirls. I know that Marie Claire and Kyle and everyone else that have put this on have just really grateful to have you. So, including myself, who gets to not only listen in, but, meet you guys in person. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Did you want to say goodbye, Will?
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
I think that's a good way to finish up.
Yep.